Welcome to the Forward Together webinar series, brought to you by the School of Management at California Lutheran University. The series is designed to bring interesting topics and people to our global community of students, alumni, and leaders in business and government to empower, educate, and inspire. Forward Together features experts from industry with the purpose to spark thought, connect people, and stimulate engaging discussions. Please submit your questions in the chat. We will hold a Q&A immediately following the presentation. Today's host is Gerhard Apfenthaler, Dean of the School of Management.
A very good morning, afternoon, or evening to all of you, wherever you may be, and welcome to the first event in the Forward Together webinar series from the School of Management at California Lutheran University. I also wanted to wish you a Happy New Year and welcome our speaker for today. We have a wonderful program in store for you. We are joined today by Judith Sanchez, who is Senior Vice President, Chief Marketing Officer, and General Manager for Jafra USA, a global company. And Judith will speak about being successful as a Latina in a German company in the United States. Judith, thank you for being with us today, and I'll turn it over to you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you much. Thank you, Lutheran University. Thank you, Gerard, for this opportunity. And thank you all for being here today with me. Happy New Year. Hopefully 2022 will be a great year for all of you. So let me introduce myself. My name is Judith Sanchez, and yes, I am the General Manager of Jafra Cosmetics. Jafra is an international direct selling cosmetic company that belongs to the Forberg Group. So for both of you that do not know what is Forberg, is a German company and is one of the 5th largest direct selling companies in the world. And you know, today I'm going to talk about diversity and how to create an organization or a team with people from different countries, different cultures, and different ways of thinking. But maybe you may be asking yourself is, what can Judith know about diversity? I can tell you a lot. So life gave me the opportunity to travel around the world, and I have been in such an amazing places, Asia, Morocco. I was in Thailand at the time of the insurrection in 2004, and I was able to see the bombs from my hotel. I was in Jakarta, and in Jakarta, just working with the ladies, I really understood the meaning of beauty in Asia that is different. I had the opportunity to work a Brazil operation, and when I went to the Amazons, you know, I realized that there were tribals that still living in the past. I was in this boat, and then we went to the one island, and they were just coming to us, and I say, hey, hey, no, don't say hey, let's just run. It was crazy in these years, you know. I have never seen the shyness, the hair more beautiful hair than in that island of the Amazon. And their secret was the Amazon. I think that Moroccan oil come from there, exactly. I went to Turkey, and then Turkey is a country of spacious, of essence. It's just so beautiful, so powerful. So it's an inspiration to create new fragrances. When you go to Italy or you go to Dubai, you can see different kind of architecture, and again, it's an inspiration to create. I can say that I have visited almost all the continents, and I have had the opportunity to work with people from all around the world. My family, even though, is an intercultural. My ex-Brazilian ex-husband, he lives many years in England, and I can say that he is more British than Brazil for sure. I have 2 kids. They have 3 nationalities each. And my son, for example, he speaks 4 languages. I'm just speak just 3, just Spanish, English, and Portuguese enough. I need to learn more, of course. But let's talk about work. So I have more than 30 years of experience in direct selling. And I can say that my specialty is to grow countries, developing business models, but now that incorporate the culture and the way of thinking and feeling of the target market that we are trying to reach. So for a long time, I was responsible for the strategy from Mexico. And Jafra Mexico is the largest operation. Let me tell you a little bit about. Jafra Mexico accounts for 60%, yes, 60% of the fragrance sales nationwide. Yes, over the Fortas, over the Ultras, you name it, over the Bath and Body Shops, you name it. In 2018, I was invited to join the United States operation as a CMO. And then in 2018, I also took the responsibility of the United States operation. Jafra United States was losing money, but we have done, I think, good things, and we have recovered. We are going double digits in terms of sales and the profit in 3 digits. So really, as a person, I really believe in the potential of the people. And while it is true that the road has not been easy, because yes, I have faced discrimination as a woman, and of course, as a Hispanic, I think it has been worth it. Because thank you to that, I can stand here today and tell you that when you have a big purpose, there are no limits. There are not limits. People do not define you. You define yourselves. So I want to remind that the magnitude of your purpose is directly proportional to the image that you have about yourself. And we will talk about more later on. So if you believe that you are great, then your purpose will be enormous. In this stage of my life, I believe that my mission is to inspire others to reach their full potential and help a little bit to create the leaders of tomorrow. That's what I have to do, and that's what I want to do. And that's why I'm also a member of the board of this beautiful university. I'm part of the board of governors of Boys and Girls Club. And in 2021, I was recognized as one of the top presenters at the University of the Direct Selling worldwide. Something that I have learned through my career is that understanding the culture of the different groups, it's fundamental to create the right strategy. It's the key to create profitable business and really to develop a strategy that really, really works. So maybe some of you do not know Dr. Greet Halster. I want to introduce him because he was a Dutch social psychologist who did a pioneering study of cultures across modern nations. And he said something that is very important, so please pay attention on this. He said, if the mind is the hardware, then culture is the software. And if you do not understand the software of a country, you cannot run a program. I think that's crucial. That's why culture is super important, it's the software. And he created a model of 6 dimensions to be able to understand the concept. And I know that we cannot generalize, but this is just a little bit to understand. And the 6 dimensions are, you can see it here, collectivism versus individualism, power versus distance. You can see the colors, and you can see that the colors are different according with the countries all around the world. Even though you have a link down, so you can take a picture and you can go and learn a little bit more about that. So again, coming back to the same 6 dimensions is collectivism versus individualism, power versus distance, uncertainty versus avoidance, masculinity and femininity. How do you believe? What kind of country you are? Indulgence versus restraint, short-term or long-term. And the way each country defines each of these dimensions, it determines its culture, its education, the way of doing business, and of course, the way of consuming. So let me put you one example. In this chart that you will see, you can see the Mexican, American, and the Germans. So if you can see, Mexican and American are more short-term, but Germans are long-term. You may ask yourself, well, yes, but why this is important? Because if you are working in a Mexican or American company, your business plans are for 2 or 3 years maximum. Every single day counts. Every closed month counts. But if you're working in a German company, the plans minimum they have to be 5 to 10 years. So that's completely different. So I can say that understanding cultural difference is critical in order to avoid communication problems, but also to have better results. Because culture determines the way that you see the world, your habits, your way of thinking, the way of acting, your values, the way you consume, the way you understand beauty, happiness, success, love, friendship, and of course, the way of doing business. Beauty is completely different in Asia versus Brazil versus America versus Mexico. If you can see a picture of Mexican beauty, it's like colorful, you know, like eyeshadow. You can see me, you know, the color of your lips. When you see American, it's more like natural beauty. When you see Germans, it's all about skin. So you can understand. So then the way, the products that you create, the way that you communicate, it's completely different. That's just something very important to know. So let me tell about some important differences. Let's go one by one. Let's talk about 3 only. There are too many, but let's just go about 3. The first one is hierarchy. And this is very important. For Germans, and American hierarchy is super important. Germans are so hierarchic that you should never think to arrive to a meal and sit wherever you want. So if you're going to have dinner with them, you have to wait and they will tell you where you have to sit, because sitting is arrangement and it's based on hierarchy. Please do not make the mistake. You can go and sit wherever. Also, it was something that I learned when I was in an event. No one can leave from the events without the highest ranking person leaving first. If not, it's not good perceived. And that is not the case in America, where everybody can do whatever they want. There's more freedom. Everybody can question the leader and give their opinion. That doesn't happen in cultures like Mexico, or it doesn't happen in Germany. Let's talk about the second one. So the second one is work and personal relationship. You may know that for Hispanic people like me, relationship goes first, then is business. So therefore, meetings are so long and sales are closed in long lunches for years. And what I'm saying long, I'm talking about 3-4 hours. When you think in Germans and Americans, punctuality comes first. So going directly to the point and the result is more important than the relationship. Even though for Germans, it is not appropriate to ask about their family's personal issues when the relationship is strictly business. They really understand that they are 2 different relationships. So the relationship is going to be very formal, and usually you call people by their title and surname, and maybe you will never get to know the first name. I have been working with for over 17 years, and I know Dr. Mittensichat, but I don't know his name. You know, I know that he's Dr. Mittensichat, that's it. But as Hispanic, I first want to know you, who you are, and then I will decide if I do business with you. For communications and Germans, this is the third one. Let's talk about communications. For Americans and Germans, communication has to be direct. For Hispanic, communication is indirect. That means that you have to be careful and diplomatic in the way you speak. So you have to really put attention what you are trying me to say, because being too direct can be seen as too personal and too aggressive. And you know, this is a curious example I want to give you. It's about the shoes. Yes, you heard right. The shoes. For Germans, business are very formal. So suits and tie for men is basic, and full suits for women is the rule in work meetings. So black is always your best weapon. Never, ever, ever use colors, like too many colors. That is not a good idea. And for shoes, this is a tip for women. Never, ever, ever wear open shoes. Nobody told you this. But they really consider it very informal and not appropriate for doing business. So this is unbelievable. How many, and even though I remember that the first time that I had a meeting with the German, it was like, how are you? No, it was crazy. So then in that moment of time, I say, oh, how small details can act in your favor or against you. So let's answer the question. How do you know if your presentation was successful by a German? They don't say great presentation. Sometimes in the United States, they say good, very good. In Hispanics, it's like bravo. Germans, poker face, they hit on the table. And that means that you are gorgeous, amazing, strange, no? Well, in summary, the first rule to work in a diverse environment or with diverse teams first is to know that there are cultural differences and you have to recognize them. Traveling and take courses abroad is a great help. I know that in some it's like a little bit difficult to travel, so please read, make friends from other parts of the world, attend seminars like this where you can have experience and can just approach people from all over the countries, learn from people from every single place. Watching movies from other countries, that help you to understand and how to interact. For example, I love Korean series. I have learned so much about the way they live, the way they think, the way they're using technology. So that's great. Let's go to the second rule. The second rule for working with a diverse team is to find something in common, to have the same purpose. So you have to respect diversity, but you have to have the same goal, the same values. Let me tell you this story. When I took over Jafra United States, the operation was going through a very time, and there were so many gaps. People didn't feel appreciated and heard. And when I was introduced to them for the first time, there was a strong rejection from the group because I am Hispanic, so it was a rejection. As a human being, I felt really hurt. But as a leader, I had to get over it very quickly and focus on what we had in common, not in our differences. So I'm going to say it again. I will have to focus in what we had in common, but not in our differences. Because what defines you, remember this, as a leader, what defines you as a person, it's not the circumstances that you are facing, but how you react to them. I love this Buddha Sutra that says that the observer has clarity. So this is a tip. Whenever you are facing a difficult situation, jump out of it and think of yourself as an observer. And in this way, it will be easier to find the solution. I knew that I couldn't change. I did that, and I knew that I couldn't change the color of my skin, my nationality, even though it was not perfect, still not perfect. But I knew that we had something in common. And I said, what we had in common was that we all wanted to grow and to contribute. And let's remember that as human beings, we have 6 basic needs: certainty, variety, significance, connection or love, growth, and of course, contribution. So learning that, I knew that I had to give them the certainty that I was the right person to lead the United States. I had to explain to them the meaning and the importance of coming together as a team, because only then we could create a connection with our consultants and with our clients. And that will make us grow as a company and contribute to achieve our mission. And our mission was offering men and is offering men, women, the opportunity of an extra income with a community that respects them, a community that values individuality, a community that helps you and encourages you to grow. So this is how I rescue a culture that had been lost, a culture based on values, respect, honesty, trust, love, and care for one another. Create a new, even though we are completely diverse, because I have a group from different countries, different ages, different genders. This is beautiful, but we speak different languages. But what we have in common are our values, and that everybody cares about one another, and we have the same purpose. So internally, we create a powerful mantra, one heart in Jafra. Together, we are stronger, and together, we are one. So that was a mantra that we have been using. We changed processes, communication became more inclusive, we launched new products, we better analyze our different target groups, and we use that information data that is key in these years, in today's world and the years to come. And we use all this information to deliver what each target group was looking for. Since until now, we have grown double digits and 3 digits in profit, net sales and profit. And I know that there's still many things to do because potential in this country is enormous. But we are an agile, diverse, resilient team that overcome even the COVID and that has managed to grow and to maintain the job of all the people, all the organization, even though we hire more people. And our sales force had a historic growth and the numbers were great. So in summary, how do you create a team or work with a team with different cultures? Number 1, recognize differences. Number 2, build a culture based on values and a high purpose that is aligned with your brand, your organization, stakeholders, internal team, consultants, and your client. You have to align everything. But again, you have to have a great purpose. The 3, and this is the last one that I'm going to share today, leadership. If you do not change, nothing changes and nothing happens. So let me share with you the following story. I love it. 2 brothers fell into the ocean, and the oldest was trying to push up the youngest back into the boat. But the movement of the sea, it was almost impossible. So he decided to climb first, and then he realized that it was easier to pull his brother than to push him up. So the anecdote shows us that it is easier to help when you are already up. We must understand that being a leader is not just being powerful. A leader is here to serve and to achieve results. And as Potter said, in this world, competition is not about having the best product, but in creating the best experience for the customer. And I will say that our employees are also our customers. It is about creating memorable experience. And this will allow us to retain not only the customers, but also the employees in this big recession time. Our rotation of employees is really, really small. But you have to remember, in order to do this, you require a lot of creativity and a lot of energy as a leader. That is why, as a leader, you must know how to take care of you so you can serve others. But it starts with you. So you have to take care of yourself in all the areas of your life. And this will help you to build a strong foundation to create and to adapt to the times and all these changes that are happening around us. I know that COVID has brought us too many challenges. supply chain delays, the great resignation, digital disruptions, mental health, inflation, recession, major shifts in consumer behaviors. But I receive every week a letter from Garrison Bornison, that he's the CEO of Korn Ferry. Korn Ferry is one of the leading recruitment and human resources firm in the world. And I was reading one of those letters, I think like 3 weeks ago, and they performed a study with more than 3,000 people from entry level, mid-level, and C-suite. And they discovered that the best leaders require 4 skills in today's world. So this is very important for you, because this is what the companies that we are looking for more in this post-COVID time. I don't know if I can say post-COVID because we're still there, but whatever. So in this time. So number 1 is adaptability. So you have to feel comfortable, being comfortable with unanticipated changes. That is very important. So I don't care if you are an engineer or psychologist or whatever, you have to be adaptable. Number 2, curiosity. You have to approach problems in novel ways. That means innovation. Try to find solutions in different ways. Number 3 is detail-oriented. You have to understand the big picture. Also, you have to be able to focus on the detail, but without losing the big picture. Up and down, up and down. And finally, tolerance to ambiguity. So you have to feel comfortable with uncertainty, and you have to be willing to make decisions and plans in the face of incomplete information. And this sounds great, this sounds great. How can you cultivate these qualities? Because you can say like, well, sometimes I have struggles just to adapt to changes. This is scary. I feel fear. It's like, it's like ambiguity. I just really want to have the facts so then I can have an educated decision. Not in these days that everything's changing. So again, how you cultivate these qualities? Well, number 1, you must know yourself and work in each of the dimensions of your life. Spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, and of course, social. You must feed yourself on positive things. Because remember, what you see, what you hear, the people that is around you have an impact in the way that you think. You have to feed yourself with good things, because that affects your level of energy and your projection. You have to learn to manage your thoughts, because your thoughts, I love this, your thoughts generate emotions, and your emotions generate reactions and actions. As human beings, we have more than 1,000 thoughts every time we blink. 1,000 every time we blink. But we are not aware of all of them, thanks God, because we're like, wow, no? So the best way that I have found to control my thoughts, because of course, I'm a human and sometimes thoughts come into my mind that doesn't help me. So the best way to control them is by breathing. Because remember this, Dr. Levry says, the mind follow the breath, and those who control the breath are able to direct their energy and the focus, their attention, and they can achieve great results. That's why every single day I wake up at 4:45. It doesn't matter where part in the country I am, in the country or outside of this country. I always do at 4:45 in the morning to do meditation and yoga. Because something I know is that as a leader, you have to really look for your center. There was a study from the Harvard University a couple of years ago, and they said that success is only 20% of your IQ and 80% of your emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence is the way you solve conflicts, the way you handle your emotions, the way you work. So now, how do you change your emotions? You may ask yourself. So there you have to change the way you are thinking. And how you change the way you are thinking? Well, that's easy, to create new patterns, and by breathing, by having clear what is important and what is not important, knowing what to prioritize and what just you need to let it go. You must remember that people or situations do not define you. You define yourself from the perception you have of yourself. You have to be your biggest fan, but also you have to feel comfortable in your own skin, and you have to believe in yourself. That's the first rule to manage a diverse group. You have to feel that you can do it, and you have to be so humble to really try to understand others. You have to learn not to take things personally, because we need to understand that there are backgrounds, different backgrounds in people. And you have to remember the law of the mirror. And the law of the mirror says that others see you what they really are. So if they don't like you, it is not personal, You understand it. It's not personal. It's the law of the mirror. So you understand that, and then you continue with your path. But at the same time, you have to be, you have to learn. You have to be your biggest teacher, your greatest teacher. You have to learn from your failures and fight every day to grow and to evolve, because only in this way you will be an example and an inspiration. You have to open your heart to different points of views and to listen to every single person that is around you, and to be humble to learn. And then you will understand that each person is really important, and you will be able to connect with the best part of everyone. And you will understand that we complement each other, and that together we can create great stories. So it doesn't matter where you come from, how you speak, how you look, because you as a leader, you have to be the example. Because when you focus on being and doing, then the having and the results will come. Because true prosperity is experienced when you active and direct yourself to what you were born for. So in conclusion, how do you lead a diverse organization? I will say that with a lot of respect, with humility, with love, with clear goals, with a vision, a common vision and a purpose, and achieving results, because everybody wants to be part of the success. But above all the things, with congruency as a leader and with empathy. That's very important. We cannot be live observers and expect the circumstances to change. We have to be the leaders who make change happen. We have to believe in ourselves. We have to open the door to others to see what we have reached, and to open the door to all of them that are coming here. So you have to be grateful, but you have to be brave. And you really have to believe yourself and not set small limits. Every single day you have to have a higher goal, and a higher goal. My mission is contribute just a little bit to create the leaders of the future. So I hope I have done that today. So let's go with this video.
Well, thank you very much.
If you want to defy your own limits, you need to challenge yourself. Nourish yourself visually, emotionally, Eat healthy and follow mindful practices. Do everything that's unconditionally good for you. This self-care will give you a firm foundation where you will feel confident to always be yourself. It is a foundation that will give you strength and dignity. This first step of self-care is an important step in your journey through life. Now, take one step further. How do you see yourself? Do you like where you are in your life? Now, let's keep going. Expand those achievements. Imagine yourself going further in your professional career, in your happiness. Imagine it, live it, feel it. Now, dream bigger. Where are you living now? What are you doing to share your talents, to make a difference in the world? Savor that victory and keep climbing. Now, dream even bigger. You are expressing your full potential. What will you be doing? Where will you live? How many will you inspire? Finally, reach the maximum brightness of your being and your abundance. Breathe it, feel it, live it. Your cells and atoms are already living it. Don't look back. There is a goal. Accept no less. Seize the perspective you have of yourself. It is directly proportionate to the opportunities and achievements that life will give you. Honor your existence and dream big.
Honor your existence and dream big, and just change yourself, change your community, change this country, change your story, change this world. Thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy this. Thank you so much, Gerald.
Well, thank you so much, Judith. It was very inspiring. Thanks for giving us your time today. We have a great number of questions already in the Q&A window. But before I get to that, I also want to mention for our audience that our production today was in itself a cross-cultural collaboration, right? You have your technology and production team in Mexico City, you're in Westlake Village, we're in Thousand Oaks here in California. So, and within a few days, right, we found together and we collaborated and we found very beautiful commonalities amongst us. So, but now to the questions, and I'm just going to take them in the order in which they came in. Betsy, for instance, here asks an interesting question from the perspective of a white female. She asks, when she is meeting with a Hispanic male executive for an introductory meeting about collaborating, how should she approach that meeting? On the one hand, she doesn't want to be aggressive, but on the other hand, she wants the Hispanic male to respect her. Do you have any insight on a specific situation like that?
Yeah, thank you so much. I know what you mean. Yeah. So I think that, you know, always you have to use your smile. That's one thing. That's the first thing that you should be. You have to be direct. So you have to say, hey guys, they're here just to approach these results. But you know, you can break the ice if you just go a little bit personal. So this is what I will suggest. So go a little bit personal to say, hey, my name is Betsy. I'm coming from the United States. I'm here. I'm very happy to be here with all of you. So people love this. Is get to know them a little bit more. So thank you, great contribution. And then they say, let's go to business. If you are working a lot with them, I will really recommend to have extra, if you can, you know, got to have lunch together, try to have these social activities, of course, in a very respectful way, but that they will get to know you as a person, and then they will still respect you because you have strong. I'm a very, very, very strong woman. And I always say, like, okay, let's be focus oriented in terms of the results. But when we finish this meeting, then I come to the people and I say, hey, how you feel? How's your family? So let's move on. So they understand that there's time for bonding and there's time for doing business. So you want to do that. It's not just business, let out the personal relationship. So I think this may help. And allow people just to interact. Something that was like a little bit difficult for me in the beginning is like, for Hispanic, like, be careful, you know, like sometimes we were in meetings and then just putting the papers or throwing the papers in that way. I see sometimes happening in the United States. That's really bad. That's too aggressive. So those are small things, put in the paper, asking how are you, to know the name, you know, and then go to the point. Go to the point. You don't want to just be kind and just lose the roads. So I think that's something that I can suggest, Gerard.
Wonderful. Thank you. The questions keep coming in, and I hope we can get to all of them. But not only questions, also praises coming in. So Christine Kars, to herself, is a very successful business leader and founder from Germany here in California. She congratulates you and thanks you for a very wonderful presentation. And so does Patty Braga, who is the president and CEO of the Ventura County Leadership Association. Patty also thanks you for delivering a message that she needed to hear today. So, but now back to the questions. Diana Rodriguez, she asks, how do you keep your Latina roots in the workforce, right? On a day-to-day basis. She cites an example, for instance, by saying that sometimes she just speaks too fast and needs to remind herself to slow down. So how do you stay true to yourself and your identity and cultural roots when you're working in a culturally different environment?
So I believe that me as a leader and me as a person, you know, I separate both things. Sometimes it's difficult, but I separate both things. So when I'm at work, I have two groups. I have, let's say with the field, like my work clients. We have the general market that is just English speaking, just American, just it. And I have like the Hispanic group. So I know that both understand differently. And I put this example to my team, you know, and I say, okay, let's think about that you buy a chair. How does just an American is going to react? How they are going to build a chair? They are going to read all the instructions. They are going to go to YouTube. Then they will gonna put all the things in the floor, and then they are gonna build the chair. And the chair is gonna be absolutely perfect. How does the Hispanic do the same thing? So we do not read the instructions. We jump into the actions. And then when the chair is not super good, we will manage the way just to arrange that. Why I'm saying this? The content is the same, but the approach is different. So you as a leader, even though I'm Hispanic, when I am with my general market, I behave and I lead them as if I am one of them, you know? So I talk to them about facts, numbers, go to the point. I do not go emotional. When I go to the Hispanic, I know that it's about the emotion and the technique. It's not important. Here the technique is important, here it's not important. So I know, because for me, it's not about me. It's about delivering the right content and achieving the results in the different groups, maybe in different ways. But I know that that is just my role as a leader, because behind, in my house, in the things that I love, I'm still a Hispanic, I'm still a Mexican, and I celebrate the 15th of September, and I love the Mexican food, and I love to be pampered. I am super detail oriented. So, and that's me, that's my real me, you know? So it's understanding that we have different roles in life. And just what is this role? As a mom, it's just to be a Latina mom. Mm-hmm. As when I'm with my family, I'm a Latina. But where I am working with people that it is not Latina, it's not about me, it's about them. Because they are the ones that achieve the results. It's not about you, it's about them, you know? And you have to understand that being leader or leading a company is just one role, but you are not that. You are more than that.
Judith, I think you have almost answered the next question, but I'm still going to ask it, especially also coming back to what you mentioned earlier in your presentation, that there were moments, right, when you felt challenged, if not inferior, as a female Latina in a male-dominated white business environment. So the question that somebody asks here is, did you ever feel the suffering from imposter syndrome, that you felt less qualified than you actually are? And how did you cope with that situation?
Yes, of course, you know, and I can tell you, like, I can give you like a lot of examples. But I felt that I remember going to Germany, and we were 100 top executive of Vorwerk, you know, and there were only 4 women, and I was the only one married at that time and with kids. So I was like, no. And even though sometimes they were rude because they didn't talk to me, you know, and I was feeling bad. And that's why for me it's very important, the law of the mirror. So then I have to understand and work a lot in myself, you know, and I really, really understood that first, it is not personal, because that's the way they think. I understood that there are a level of consciousness, you know. There are people that believe that we are just completely different, and that's one level of consciousness. But the people that is in a higher level of consciousness, they really understand that we are all part of this world. And the example is COVID. In one part of the world, there was somebody sick. And now, all the people in this world, we are all sick. So we are all connected, you know? So when I understood that, somebody told me, you know, Judith, if you allow others to hurt you, that means that you are in control of your own life, and that you are not strong enough, and that you do not understand that people have different level of consciousness. So when you are dealing with somebody that has a low level of consciousness, it's like being with a kid that doesn't know how to do 1 + 1 = 2. And you are super mad with him because you want him to do like algebra, you know? You cannot speak the same language. You cannot. So you're asking this person that is a low level of consciousness that thinks in a higher way, and they cannot do it. They cannot just do it. So when I understood that, and I understood the law, the mirror, I understood that it was not about me. It was about them. Really? So what I do now is, like, when I have somebody that's approach and come in, because sometimes still happen, you know, and try to be aggressive, is And I just have this idea. Somebody was very, very aggressive with me. I think it was 4 years ago. I said, hey, I cannot talk with you in a way. Mm-hmm. And I do not raise my voice because he was raising the voice. And I was like, just super calm, just breathe. Go to your center. Just not to allow your emotions to take control, understand the law of the mirror, and said, I am the adult in this situation. Mm-hmm. So I just breathe and I say, hey, I cannot talk with you in this way. He was still shouting at me. And I say, hey, we cannot communicate.
Beautiful.
He was going down his voice, no? And then we were able to communicate. And then I said, this is respect. And if people do not respect you, you just need to look for other options. But you have to be yourself and you have to lead that and you have to be the center. Sorry, Gerard, I can't speak forever about this.
And I could listen to you forever.
All about working, about you.
And I could listen to you forever.
That's why I do yoga and I do meditations, because I just work with myself. Be strong. Be strong.
Judith, you mentioned it, right? We're already a little bit over time, but I want to give you one final question from the audience. Since you mentioned COVID and also the Great Resignation, Dr. Cindy Lewis here asks, what did you do in your company? What kind of perks did you offer at Jafra to retain your employees?
Well, we have a lot of things. So today we are moving for a more hybrid job opportunity. We have a great bonuses for sure. We have like a wellness program for the employees. So in terms of meditation, exercise, we encourage them. And every time that they participate in these kind of programs, they receive like bonus that goes in favor to their insurance. So I think we create a very collaborative community. So if you want, we can talk a little bit later about this. And we are like super diverse, super diverse. But I think nowadays, like people is looking for a place that they feel that they are bringing value, number one. Even though that's more important than money, than the salary. Second, people looking for a company that has a great purpose. And I think we have a great purpose. People is looking for flexibility. We give them flexibility. And we are hybrid. And we really understand when people feel fear and maybe they don't want to come here and work from home. Like I can say like today, like almost 80% of my team is working, and that's okay. And then you have to celebrate success. You have to be successful. And then, of course, you have to give them a very good package, no? Right salary, right bonus, and additional benefits like health for them, for their family, and whatever. But we can talk a little bit more later.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Judith, for a really inspiring talk today. I learned a lot. I think the audience learned a lot. We got some beautiful messages from you. So thanks again for giving us your time. My apologies to everybody whose question we couldn't answer in our limited time that we had. And please just give me a final opportunity to point you to some upcoming events at the School of Management, some of which will be virtual, some of which will be in person. I would particularly, for those of you who are in our area, like to highlight our upcoming economic forecasts for the San Fernando Valley on February 28th and for Ventura County on March 8th, but also then a few virtual events coming up. Please visit us at callutheran.edu/som/events, and I look forward to seeing you all very soon at one of those. Thank you very much and see you soon.
We thank you for participating in today's Forward Together webinar series, brought to you by the School of Management at California Lutheran University. The School of Management offers a broad range of programs and community services. Whether you're looking to upgrade your career, locate current economic data from our Center for Economic Research and Forecasting, or a place to start and grow your business at Hub 101, our community startup space, we invite you to visit us at clu.edu/SOM and join the community as we move forward together.